another month. This must have been right around towards the end of the first half. And here we go again, having a crazy collection of players that doesn't fit the new manager. And then all of a sudden, Chadley breaks down the left, sees Walker making a blazing run on the white, and then Walker passes to Son, our new 18 million pound striker. And I don't know whether you guys caught this. He whiffed.
Yeah.
That was a goal. And I just thought to myself, I saw my whole Spurs life just like unraveling before me, right? Like, oh God, we're gonna have more of this. We're gonna have many more games of this kind of performance, and we're gonna lose the manager. And now we got all these players that doesn't fit the new manager, and the vicious cycle continues. But it worked out. We won 1-0 at the end. But that just shows you the fine line of all this, right? I mean, can you imagine if we lost 1-0? Oh, right?
Social media would still be melting down. As it stands, listen, if you say stupid crap, I generally just try to ignore it. I'll pretend that you're like a 12-year-old and you don't know any better, and I move on and I don't even make a comment. Somebody made the comment on a Facebook post in one of the big fan forum type groups about maybe it's about time that we go ahead and let United go ahead and buy Harry Kane.
Oh, God. I think this was Callum. This was that Callum guy. Callum.
You are a moron, is exactly what I wrote. And now you're on a podcast. You are a moron.
Yeah, I
heard. We're not doing that.
I saw. Oh, sorry, pardon me. Go ahead.
Someone was saying that we're hearing one season wonder already. I'm like, are you kidding me? He's just proven that he can do the goods for England. Yeah. Those 2 goals in 2 games, 3 goals in 4 games in total for him now with the senior team. He's not lacking in confidence. It just, someone, I think NBC said when he did whiff on that far post one towards the end of the game.
Mason supplied him.
Yeah. I mean, it was a nice cross, but he's still not getting all the chances he needs. And I'll give Sunderland some credit. They did defend well. They had some serious blocks on us, particularly in the second half. So it's going to come for him. The comments have been made, well, he didn't score till November last year, but he came off the bench a lot last year, so he didn't get a lot of starts. So that's kind of letting him off the hook, and I'm not buying that. But I'm certainly not going to sit here and defend the guy and say, it's all going to come good, it's all going to come good. He will get it, and he's just not getting the chances that he was getting last year. And
wouldn't you agree that this is part of being a successful striker in the Premier League? Is dealing with the fact that you're going to go games without scoring, and part of being a great striker is managing through that process.
Well, and he's also got to figure out, and he said it himself this week, he's going to get double and triple teamed, which should open up space for the other players, which we're not seeing that, unfortunately, but that inevitably should be the rule. And he does get closed down a lot, and I think defences have figured out how to set up against us. So we're going to need to be clinical on some of the passing, and I think that's why you saw the goal as it was today. Someone made a comment that was a typical, well, I don't want to say typical, but that is a traditional kind of Tottenham work goal. For us to pass it that way, you know what, I had to watch it from home because of my travel commitments, but I didn't even get up off the sofa because I'm like, that's offside. Like, no, they flashed up the Tottenham goal, celebrating. Oh, it's a goal.
Yeah,
he was from the original camera angle, it looked like it was offside, but clearly, I mean, what a great timing on the run, and the pass, the 1-2 with Lamela was awesome. So,
and I think if you watch that again, you'll see Mason look to his right to see that one defender just to check to make sure that on that final run that he was onside.
Yeah, so a well-worked goal, and that is a goal in the tradition of our style, and we have been lacking that, and the other thing that kind of irritated me today was doing what we were doing last year, is just coming inside and trying to make that room into the middle of the box. Yeah. But then when Townsend came on, he was getting to the byline and getting the crosses in. And I think
it opens up the middle when you've got a guy that's wide that can really run at somebody and give somebody fits. Right?
And the attackers, it looks like they're by design crisscrossing one another. Because I watched Lamela float and I watched Kane float, and it's almost like they were making figure eights around each other, almost like trying to get the defenders to pick each other, and then one of them would break through. The passing to me in the final third is starting to look a little more crisp. The timing is great. We weren't offside nearly as much as I think we were earlier in the year. It seems like we're making the runs and timing these things a little bit better. The potential is there for things to really start to break out. We really hope that happens. 0-0 draws and 1-0 wins are only going to carry you for so far. We've got to start bagging some 2, 3, 4 goal games, and really try to put pressure on the teams above us.
Yeah,
we jumped up. We're sitting 12th, but when you look just straight ahead above us, it's not easy. It's Southampton, it's West Ham, it's Liverpool, Swansea's up there, Everton's up there. Crystal Palace, who we play next weekend, is 5th on 9 points with a +2 goal difference. So
yeah, and they've lost. I know they've lost twice at home.
Yeah.
So how many points do they have?
They have 9.
Oh, they've obviously won all their away games.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, they're playing very well.
They're like Stoke to us. They're always a very tough team to play. We've struggled with them the last couple of years.
It was 0-0 at home last year.
Yeah.
Very frustrating game.
And they could have at least drawn with City and had the 89th minute goal from, what was it?
Yeah, I felt bad for them. I watched it.
I know it was the kid.
It was the kid. Yeah, it was the kid. And they played well.
They did. And you kind of hope that they're on a downer because of that coming in rather than pissed off. Coming in, it could get nasty quick. So, and again, one of the things that I'm kind of liking about our play, and Dele Alli, I thought he played well. That's a really great skill with his feet. He nutmegged 2 or 3 players today.
Yeah.
But he is also a little bit like Dyer in the fact that he is a little bit voracious out on the pitch. I like that chippiness from our players. I really do.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling we're going to need it against Palace. I'm expecting that to be filled with yellow cards. And I would fully expect from one side or the other that someone's going to get sent off. Because both of those teams are extremely hungry.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very good game. I think it's going to be a very, very good game. They've got some entertaining players.
Bolassi's back playing.
Yeah, and they've got one kid that I love. He went off to United, and then he's back. Young kid winger.
Saha.
Saha, yes. Yeah, and I think he's a terrific player. In fact, he schooled Eriksson. Remember he schooled Eriksson down in the away fixture against them. He came on as a sub and did very well, and he's very threatening. And so I think that's right, because he abused Walker and Eriksson. So I think
and you know who's not got looking at Palace?
Who's that?
Zeke Friars.
Oh, that's right. Oh, you know what's funny is there was a Palace tweet that went out by the club that wished Friars happy birthday, and evidently half the supporters didn't know he played for Palace. It was really funny. You have to find that tweet.
Because he hasn't.
It's pretty funny.
For someone as hyped up as he was, and Fergie got his knickers in a twist when we went through the back door to get him from Bruges when they let him go.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was up
and Ken and I will talk about it till the cows come home when we saw him and Carroll in the center circle with Poch in training last year, because they both had a horrible, we've talked about this before, so excuse the repetition, but they had a horrible game in the Toronto preseason friendly, and I don't think Poch messes about when he gives you an opportunity to shine, and if you screw it up, your chance, you've blown it. And he obviously gave Carroll the second opportunity, but he shipped Friars off, and his career's kind of gone down the crapper because he's not getting a look in at Palace. And I was reading the 4-4-2 season preview, albeit a few weeks late, but even the Palace fans do not rate Friars.
Well, it's a huge fixture. We get to swap with them if we get 3 points. I think this is a terrific test for Kyle Walker. I actually think he's had a very, very good season. I think he's been one of the best players that we've had this year. He's just one of those players where he's an easy mark. He's an easy guy to try and criticize, but I think if you really, really watch him, he's actually played very well this year, and then playing up against Saha will be a real test. So, part of you teams, we talk about it all the time. He always plays Spurs top.
Yeah.
Right? Always plays top. So. Anyhow.
Yeah, we don't want to be Pardew.
No, we don't want to be part of it.
No,
and of course, and tomorrow we've got Monday football. So we've got some Monday afternoon football here, Monday night football over in the UK, and there's kind of an interesting dynamic that we realized today that if Newcastle somehow beat West Ham tomorrow, Chelsea will be in the relegation zone for a week.
You did hear that our away support was singing to the Sunderland fans. You're going down with Chelsea.
Yeah. We got to take it while we can.
Right.
What is it, like 1 win in 8 or 1 win in 7 now, going back to last year in the league for Jose?
I mean, a respected publication said that even with as good as Mourinho is, this is a hell of a jam for him to get out of 4 points after 5 games.
Well, and it's an interesting month to the new season based on where Leicester and Palace are doing. United have been pretty ordinary, and that first half in the United-Liverpool game was horrible.
Awful.
It made our first half look like the 1970 World Cup final.
400 million pounds of play.
Yeah, it was dreadful.
Shit.
Obviously, it livened up in the second half. Great goal by Benteke, and you really thought Liverpool were back in it, and it went tits up immediately afterwards. But the Everton mauling of Chelsea was a great way to start the day for everybody. We all like to see the big clubs lose like that. And Arsenal got what we couldn't do against Stoke, so they're back in the mix, and they finally scored themselves instead of relying on someone else to do it for them. And it's kind of gone that way. And I think the game today between Villa and Leicester, when you really think Leicester's bubble's going to burst, they've gone and pulled it out. And you talk about a resilient team. I've been very impressed with Leicester this season. And I was sitting there, I think I made the tweet towards the end of the game that it would have been totally Spursy for Villa to go in there and nick all the points, and obviously Timmy was 2-0 up and he fucked it up. So I don't take any smug joy out of that, despite what I just said, just because it was Tim. But I think Leicester are definitely a different side than last year, although Pearson did a very good job in keeping them up. They played us very well in both games last season. We talked about that before and after when we played Leicester this year, and that was a game that was a deserved draw, despite us taking the lead, only throwing it away a minute later. And they made Villa pay for some probably poor substitutions on Sherwood's part, but it's shaping up to be an interesting season, and I think we're all sitting here going, wow, I wish we'd capitalised on that by not losing to United and by beating Everton and Stoke. So that, I think, probably puts a bit more emphasis on the Palace game, because we want to burst their bubble and kind of get on a roll ourselves, and we can start that on Thursday.
Yeah.
This league's wide open. This league is wide open. In a long, long season, anything can happen. It's all about some teams getting in a rhythm and building momentum. And those are the teams that are going to be in the top 8 after this is all said and done.
Yeah, I mean it's really going to be interesting to see. Listen, every year we seem to have 1 or 2 rabbits, teams that aren't expected to be vying for the positions that they're in. But it's always fun to see how long they can hold on. And listen, we're going to go through a rough patch here for the first part of the season, it seems like, especially with the next 2 months, how thick and fast the games are going to start coming, and it's not even close to Christmas when all that really happens. But after we get through these tough fixtures, it's going to be really interesting to see how well we adjust, and we are going to need, I'm telling you right now, we are going to need a very nice purple patch around the Christmas break.
We are. I mean, it's fierce until December.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fixture list.
Well, and if you think back to last season, we were really good around November through January. We had that horrible patch around November. Late October, November. We started off well, had a dip, kind of.
Palace at home, Stoke at home, West Brom.
The Newcastle game. We had some dodgy games there, and even the back end of the season until the very end was kind of shaky as well. So, particularly once we went out of all the competitions, the Capital One Cup and Europa League. So I'd like to see a little more consistency, and that's why I'm okay with the slower start.
Yeah.
if we can build from that. We've done that with Everton. You could argue we took a slight step, half